SQL is the #1 skill for many data jobs and can be the thing that helps you get a job or completely ruin your chances. I might have found the best way to learn SQL whether you're a beginner or a more advanced learner, and it's a platform called Learn SQL. As you might be able to tell from the name, they literally only teach SQL and they do it in a practical and fun way, and they give you a final certificate after completing each course. In this video, I'll review this platform and courses to see if it's worth learning SQL over there. Also, this might be really important to clarify, I'm not sponsored by them, but if you do use my link to sign up in the description, I get a small commission which helps me make videos like this. Anyway, I'm gonna mention the pros and cons because I don't want to be one of those YouTubers recommending stuff just because they get paid to do so. Starting out with the basics first, everything is done on their website. You don't need to download any programs. You can do real SQL queries just like with real databases through their database environment. They focus on hands-on learning and it's very real-world focused. This is great because I feel like many courses often mess things up and don't really teach the skills people need, and just waste so much time with long presentations and useless video content. So this practical and no BS approach is very nice for a change and especially good for those looking to learn SQL fast. SQL is a language with different dialects that have slight differences, and you can follow their standard SQL learning path, or you can focus on a specific SQL dialect if that's what you're interested in. They have over 1 million students. It is not a new website, and you get a certificate after completing a course here, which you can publish on LinkedIn or print out and put on your wall as a nice achievement. Now, before we get to the pros and cons, let's take a look at the courses in more detail. First of all, they have two different categories, basic and advanced. We're gonna take a look at the basic courses because I feel like that's more relevant for most people. They both have individual courses and also tracks, which is just a bunch of different courses together, kind of like a professional certificate, but for SQL. This is the most popular course overall, and it's called SQL from A to C, and it has 41,000 reviews, which is pretty good. It includes 7 courses and a total estimated learning time of around 84 hours to complete, but of course you can do it faster, it's just a basic estimate. They offer different pricing options and they often do sales, so I'll leave a link in the description if I notice a sale or something. Now this course is great for people with no experience in SQL, but if you have some experience, it's good to revise and really become proficient and be able to do these things naturally, which is the main goal here and why it's so useful. You can know SQL, but the question is, do you really know SQL? Now let's take a quick look at the courses more in depth. So the first course in SQL from A to C just covers the basics. The next course covers the more important functions in SQL, and then we move over to some commands like update, insert, and delete, which you might already be familiar with, but you can of course use them in more advanced ways as well. And then course 4 is really useful and highly rated because they teach you to build a basic SQL report, which is a really valuable skill, for example, as a data analyst, and learn some advanced SQL queries. As you can tell by the name A to C, we start at the absolute basics and slowly get more advanced. Now the actual courses kind of look like this. You have some text and instructions, and then you have this like code editor, and below you have your query results and your database, which you can play around with depending on the exercise. Of course, this also depends on the kind of exercise you're doing, but this is kind of the general interface that we're going to be dealing with. Now let's move over to the pros and cons, and I'm gonna be brutally honest so that you're ready to make an educated decision for yourself. Let's start with the pros and then the cons, and it's so important to know this before you get started so you don't waste weeks or months on learning something and then you find out that it's not for you later. So I really like this platform. It's actually one of my favorites, if not the #1 platform to learn SQL in my opinion. I've used it and tried it myself. It has a simple layout, it has tons of courses, and it only focuses on SQL and nothing else, which means that they're able to focus and teach it really well. Unlike some other platforms that kind of like do a lot of different things and they don't really teach SQL very well, it's just videos, whatever. They also teach different dialects, which is really good, and the kind of different levels of SQL, and it's honestly, in my opinion, the only platform you need to learn SQL. You don't even need a subscription, you just pay for the courses that you need, whether that's a single course or access to all the courses. And I think the price is really fair for everything that you're getting in these courses. Just a quick tip is that they also offer students a free course, so if you're registered at a university or a college, you can just enter your school email and get access to their SQL Basics course for free, which contains, I believe, 129 interactive exercises, and I hope that helps as well. Now let's get to the cons because there are some potential downsides and I want to bring them up before you get started. So firstly, I don't see videos as a part of their learning package. If you're somebody that hates reading and doing exercises, then sorry, you're probably not going to enjoy, just being able to watch a video and then call it a day. Their entire learning style is focused on practical learning. There are no videos or long presentations, and I think this is a huge plus, but just know that they don't really offer a lazy way of learning. They offer an efficient, practical one that actually gives you results, but of course it's going to be more work than just watching a few videos and pretending like you learned something. The next downside applies to all places that you can learn SQL on, and it's that you don't want to get stuck and never start doing your own project. It's great to learn through a platform like this, but eventually you should also start moving out and do projects yourself, because nothing can be as realistic and as valuable as doing it in the real world yourself. And that also gives you something to put in your portfolio. So don't get too comfortable, use this for learning, and then also try to incorporate some of your own projects. That is going to give you the best results. My recommendation is that if you're a beginner, start with the SQL from A to C course, and I'll leave a link in the description to do that, and any available discount. SQL is really important, so regardless of how you learn it, make sure to learn it and try different things to find out the best learning style for you. Everyone is of course different. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video over here, and subscribe for more.